Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
The city of Detroit is claiming homicides have fallen to their lowest levels in decades, and other violent crimes are down too, thanks to a first-of-its-kind partnership. We're glad you're with us today for Local 4 News at 5 on this Monday. I'm Devin Skillion.
And I'm Pamela Osborne in for Kimberly Gill. The city is touting significant reductions in homicides, non-fatal shootings, as well as carjackings. For a closer look at the numbers and the reasons behind them, we turn things over to our Sean Lay. Sean.
Pamela and Devin, we talk about numbers, and I always say all the time, the numbers actually mean actual people. And we can say this tonight, that more people in Detroit are alive today because of an intense focus of attacking a big-time backlog of gun cases in the courts.
But nobody wants to hear about the numbers of arrests. What people want to hear about is the overall reduction in crime.
Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, along with every level of law enforcement in the area, along with the Wayne County prosecutor and chief judges, revealing a dramatic reduction in local violent crime. How? We highlighted during COVID shutdowns, courts were also shut down. People charged with gun crimes were out on bond. The result, more violent crime. The courts worked overtime to clear 4,000 backlogged cases. Police and prosecutors working together on that mountain of cases. State funding helped pay for clearing those cases. Here's the result. This year, homicides down in Detroit 18%, non-fatal shootings down 13%, carjackings down 36%.
We've seen now numbers we've never seen, 18% reduction in homicide. 60 more people are going to be living this year.
We have arrested the Wayne County Sheriff's Office deputies, along with Detroit Police Department officers, have arrested 3,646 felons. I think that's a number that you want to hear about because this stuff is result driven.
But the system was broken, and bringing all that together and getting that to work, and we find ourselves where we are today.
Back here live, and you think back to those COVID months and years. We talked about those cases, gun crime cases, being arrested and then going to the courts, but because of COVID, the offenders or suspects were being sent home. Here's one example, Devin and Pamela. When they examined this, started really digging down. There was a shooting in Detroit. There was one person on a tether. They started digging on the tether information. 22 other people on a tether were at that shooting. This is something they're tackled. The result, the work continues right now today to get those numbers even lower. Live in Detroit, Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
Wow, Sean, thank you. Breaking it all down for us this evening.
What an unreal stat that is. Madison Heights police tonight asking parents to talk with their children to find out if they know a man on social media who is under arrest for allegedly abusing a 12-year-old. And they do believe there are more victims. Most frightening about this, how quickly police say things escalated. Rod Maloney live with more on this story. Rod.
Devin, that talk not only should include whether you've talked to anybody, but to have that talk about social media in general, who you're talking with, and for parents to get involved in their children's social media traffic, because Madison Heights police say one child has already been abused here, and they believe there are more. This is 30-year-old Baron Dukes of Madison Heights. This is his jail booking photo put out by the Madison Heights Police Department. You'll notice he has coloring under his eyes, and no, that is not eye black athletes wear. It's a tattoo. But to see the chilling words, you need to see his Macomb County Jail booking photo. They say, not human. He's currently held in the jail without bond after his arrest and other charges. And he's worn those ice-cold words for a while now. This is his Michigan Department of Corrections booking photo, taken back in 2021. At that time, he was at the tail end of serving 10 years in prison for armed robbery and felony firearms. Madison Heights Police Lieutenant David Kohler tells Local 4 the 12-year-old and her parents came into the police station in mid-November, reporting Barron sexually assaulted her after befriending her and other area children in person.
Made friends with them in the neighborhood, became an acquaintance of them, and then started online chatting with them.
And it appears it was entirely too easy. At first, Kohler says Barron just talked, graduated to asking for pictures and videos, and then started meeting the girl after school, near her school, and in parks. The Oakland County Prosecutor's Office has charged Barrons with first-degree criminal sexual conduct, child sexually abusive activity, and possessing child sexually abusive material. He's also facing 2 counts of computer crimes.
A lot of the kids keep their social medias private. The parents don't always dig into that. Makes it a little bit easier for predators to go online and do this.
And beyond being an object lesson for parents to be paying attention to tonight, it's an odd case because Behrens has not been arraigned in this case yet, even though he was arrested about a month ago. The Oakland County Prosecutor's Office has proffered the charges, but they've not arraigned him yet officially. That could happen in the days or perhaps even weeks ahead. Back to you.
So, Rob, they're asking for the public's health. Do we know how widespread they think this case is?
Well, here's the thing. They're saying that they believe that there are other victims in Madison Heights, but they also say it is possible that Behrens and perhaps others like him are contacting children in other communities around Metro Detroit. And so they say that this is not just a Madison Heights problem, that all parents of, say, tweens ought to be talking to their kids tonight.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, Rod.
Another gray day for us here in southeastern Michigan, but hey, at least the lights are shining bright down at Campus Martius, and it is certainly feeling more like December with temperatures in the 30s.
Pretty chilly, but that's a beautiful sight. But things are going to change. We've got some stuff on the way, Kim.
That's a great way to put it. A little bit of everything tomorrow, depending on where you live. Right now, everyone is in the 30s, 34 in Lapeer, also in Pontiac, upper 30s in Mount Clemens, Grosse Ile Metro, and in Monroe, all checking in now at 37 degrees. A little cooler than it was yesterday, especially in the southern part of the viewing area, including Metro Airport and Monroe, about 5 to 6 degrees colder right now than it was yesterday. But the trend is going to be a warm up by the end of the week. In fact, we're not done with 50s yet. But for tomorrow, a wintry mix. If you're south of 94, more likely to have some light snow. If you're north of it, you might get a little bit of a mix. And even north of that, you might not get anything tomorrow. So we're going to break all that down in the forecast. But temperatures will remain steady everywhere right around 34 to 36 degrees. But then we start the warm-up trend, and it's a big one. By Friday, we're at 53 degrees, and then we fall back down again next week to right around 40. But I'll break down where that snow line sets up and how it could affect your morning commute, depending on where you live. We'll do that in a few minutes.
All right, Kim. Well, you know, when it comes to reaching the NFL playoffs, they don't ask how. They just ask how many. And
the Lions have now won 9 games after a very up, down, then up again day in New Orleans. Bernie is here. This was an important win. What's Coach Campbell saying about it today?
Well, I don't think first of all, he said he wasn't happy because they had a 21-0 lead in the first quarter, so you hate doing that. But remember, he came to Detroit from New Orleans, where he was an assistant coach to Sean Payton. Campbell left New Orleans happy with a win, but also realistic enough to know his team almost let this one slip away. Lions now find themselves tied with Dallas and San Francisco with the second-best record in the NFC. Today, Campbell said he's not happy losing that big lead early, so he's going to push his guys harder.
We got to clean up our own issues, but I believe we will and we can. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And our guys know that. There's more out there and we want more. And they'll be ready to go this week, man. Chicago, we know what they are, and they're coming off a bye. This will be a big week for us.
I kind of figured this out. I think every time he wears the salty shirt, he doesn't really like what's going on.
I was thinking there was some intention there.
Yeah, I think so.
Funny.
Thank you, Bernie.
Okay.
In Harrison Township today, Macomb County leaders opened a new headquarters for the Sheriff's Marine Division. The old HQ was built back in 1974 and was last updated in 1985. The Sheriff's Office says it was definitely time for an update. That new 14,000 square foot facility features administrative offices, a dispatch center, locker rooms, a boat garage, and more. It's more than twice as large as the old headquarters and cost more than $10 million to build.
Tensions are rising again as fighting escalates in the Gaza Strip. There are fears the conflict could spread across the region as a U.S. warship shot down 3 drones aimed at commercial ships in the Red Sea. Alice Barr in Washington with the latest. Alice.
Good evening. The White House is trying to balance the unwavering support President Biden has pledged for Israel with real pressure to do more to protect Palestinian civilians. The war in the Gaza Strip has moved south. The people fleeing it are running out of options. Israel is targeting Hamas leaders believed to have regrouped in the south. But that's where Israeli officials told civilians to come when fighting was concentrated in the north. The White House pressed today on its message to Israel, a top U.S. ally.
And what we have indicated to the Israelis is they need to use every means and tool that they have available to be sure that when they actually move in force into an area in the south, that they do so with some confidence that people have actually gotten safe passage out of that area.
The Biden administration has been ramping up pressure on Israel to protect civilians.
International humanitarian law must be respected. Too many innocent Palestinians have been killed.
In this kind of a fight, the center of gravity is the civilian population. And if you drive them into the arms of the enemy, you replace a tactical victory with a strategic defeat.
Israel is now dropping leaflets with digital maps telling civilians to move from one quadrant of Gaza to another for their safety. But many don't have internet to read the QR code and don't believe that anywhere is safe. It comes amid growing concerns that the conflict could spread. Defense officials confirming to NBC News that a U.S. warship shot down 3 drones that were heading toward it off the coast of Yemen. It happened during a sustained attack on commercial ships in the Red Sea. 3 of the ships were hit. It's unclear if the American warship was a direct target. Iranian-backed Houthi rebels claiming responsibility, calling it a show of support for Palestinians in Gaza.
As soon as this week, the Senate is expected to take up a fight over funding for both Israel and Ukraine. The White House is now warning leaders in Congress that money to support Ukraine against Russia is running dry, urging lawmakers to act by the end of the year. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.